Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We've got CIG responding to the widespread cheating and exploit drama. They've actually done some stuff, they've banned some people. There's a little note for VR on that as well for people that were sort of bodging VR into the game. Also, a new Alpha 4.2.1 PTU patch with some significantly better ladders. Ladders 2.0, which I actually think is the last feature they're wedging in before going to a set of release candidates for the patch. But let's jump into these updates. There was a thread, an update on cheating and exploiting from CIG. We've observed a recent increase in exploits and cheating in-game and want to acknowledge everyone who's taken the time to report these issues. It's genuinely appreciated. For those of you that don't know, there's people that were sharing videos of people using cheat engines and clearly hacking in-game, people apparently stealing inventories and speed hacking, teleporting around, things like that. And separately from that, there was an exploiting issue where people were able to dupe items and they were like using bots or repeatedly moving an item and then cancelling that to try and dupe an item. And obviously, if you do that at scale, that's infinite money. But it's kind of two separate issues which have just coincidentally happened kind of simultaneously, at least from my understanding. CIG continue. Historically, we've taken a more relaxed approach to third-party tools. This was intentional, allowing space for community-driven efforts like vocalization, VR integrations, and other creative contributions. However, with our growing player base and increased engagement, we've reached a new threshold, one where exploiters see greater opportunity in targeting the game. In response to the recent spike in abuse, we'll be tightening our anti-cheat measures to better protect both the integrity of the game and the experience for the broader community that continues to shape it. While we won't be sharing specifics, we want to reassure you that recent updates have already been made and had a substantial impact. We've also issued a large wave of account bans and will continue to take enforcement actions as needed. To be clear, exploiting or cheating is strictly against our terms, regardless of intent or the current stage of development. We understand some users may be experimenting, acting out of curiosity, or believe they are helping expose issues, but even these actions can be disruptive and damaging to the game. This behavior can lead to serious consequences, up to and including permanent account closure. We'll continue monitoring the situation and taking whatever steps are necessary to ensure fair play. Thanks again for continuing to report issues as they arise, and CIG did follow up with the bans were permanent in the ban waves for cheaters and obvious exploiters. I'm totally on board with this. If you accidentally stumble upon an exploit, report it on the issue council. Don't try and repeat it 100 times. Don't use it to your benefit. You will get banned now. And I'm kind of on board with that. Maybe if you're in the PTU and CIG are trying to bug fix, it's a little bit different, right? Because PTU doesn't have any lasting effects on the verse. But I'd always err on the side of caution because it is against their terms of service to cheat, to exploit. You're not going to have to worry about it if you're stumbling upon these, if you're doing them by accident. Star Citizen's Alpha for a reason. People are going to find these weird bugs or whatever. Occasionally it's going to duplicate your whole cargo, or you're going to get double mission rewards or something like that. Mostly though, these things that happen in Star Citizen, the bugs that happen, they're not in your favor. If you are clearly using cheat programs, if you are clearly using bots, or you are duping items repeatedly, you're going to get banned. I do want to talk about a couple of things that CIG have done and can do for cheat protection. I believe one of the things they've already done is tweak the easy anti-cheat restrictions, removed the whitelisting of certain things. Obviously, people were using programs for injecting stuff into the game so they could do VR or so they could modify lighting, stuff like that. So CIG are going to obviously be not allowing those programs anymore. The easy anti-cheat will go, no, this isn't allowed, or close the game, come up with an error or whatever. And I also believe that they've made the heartbeat for easy anti-cheat, how often it checks for third-party tools and injected code, more regular. Is this going to cause performance issues? Potentially. I'm not a massive fan of easy anti-cheat, but if you want proper anti-cheat, you have to have really invasive anti-cheat, and then still people will work out ways of cheating. So a multi-pronged sort of approach to cheating and exploiting is needed for Star Citizen, at least eventually, with lots of logging stuff, maybe some AI looking at stuff, going, oh, this is unusual behavior, and then some manual reviewing of stuff. So you want really aggressive permanent bans for people. But this is a loss to the modding, bodging and tweaking communities for Star Citizen, but potentially a big win for clearing out cheaters and exploiters, and something CIG and Star Citizen kind of need to start doing. And as I said, very much a multiple pronged approach is probably a good idea here. We'll have to wait and see exactly what CIG do, but they probably won't go too much into it because they're not going to want to reveal everything behind the scenes, because it's kind of an arms race. Don't cheat, don't exploit, and if you do see it happening, report it on the issue council. And I've said it once, and I've said it many times, if you see an exploit in-game, or if you see cheats in-game, don't make a guide on how to do them, even if that is to shine a light on them. It's against terms of service, you're going to get banned. I did mention a couple of times that little VR things. There is a Vulkan thread that's going on as well, where Ali Brown is answering a load of questions about Vulkan integration and their work on Vulkan at the moment, which I've previously covered, but there's actually expanding out that thread even more. I believe that CIG, as I said, have switched to more aggressive cheat protection that now prevents things like some of the VR bodges people were using. And in that Vulkan thread, someone asked Ali Brown, are you going to let Sylvan start working on VR once the Vulkan update is out? Sylvan is one of the devs that said they'd work on a VR in their spare time. They wanted to get VR in the game ASAP. Once the Vulkan update is out, they could look at VR more readily and see if they could actually integrate it. And then the question goes on to say, the EAC, the Easy Anti-Cheat Heartbeat, has blocked the use of existing VR solutions with the closure of the bypass that enabled them. Ali Brown responded, I'm not Sylvan's boss, engine team, but there's no official public update on VR to give at this time. So I did just want to outline that, because people are like, when's VR coming out? And CIG have basically said, we'll update you in the future about that. And they're not saying immediately going to start working on it when the Vulkan update's out, but they may. Let's see what happens. Actually, while we're in that thread, I do want to give you some extra information that was more recently put in there. HDR is being worked on for that Vulkan update at the moment as well. They also said there's always more optimizations to make. It's a major priority for many devs to optimize both games right now, for Vulkan, for Engine, for just tons of stuff. FSR and FSR4 support. There was a question about this, and Ali said, last I checked, DirectX 11 is holding us back here. No DirectX 11 support for FSR4, and not trivial to link both versions of FSR in one release. Seeing that I've just moved over to a 9070 XT, an AMD card, I'd be very excited for them to get FSR4 in-game. I'd love to know your thoughts on CIG's stance to cheating and exploiting and what they've said in their statement there in the comments below. And are you excited for VR turning up in the game at some point? Are you really upset that they've blocked a load of stuff now because of them upping the anti-cheat protection? Something else I want to talk about quick is the new Alpha 4.2.1 PTU patch that was released on the 8th of July. This had a updated feature, Ladders V2, implementation of further ladder systems into Star Citizen. This update includes many new traversal mechanics to all ladders in ships and environments around the persistent universe. This includes look around while on a ladder, 180 degree whilst moving, 355 degree whilst stationary, so you can really have a proper look on the ladders. Midpoint entry and exits, so you can go onto a ladder, not necessarily at the base of it or at the top of it. And being able to jump off ladders while looking in a direction. I'm not sure how janky that is. Leaning, used to dodge debris as a function, which is an interesting one because it's how often is that going to happen? Maybe more often than I want it to. Collision, e.g. other actors on the ladder, prevents traversal up the ladder, so you can't go through another player or NPC or whatever. Ladders allow exit into crouch or small spaces, and updates to joining and leaving a ladder. Ladders will no longer vacuum up players, or at least should no longer vacuum up players who happen to wander past, and will require an interaction to step on by directly running into them at a direct angle to attach. Approaching a ladder midpoint also provides an interaction to step onto it. Ladders can now also be exited by jumping at any point by looking in a direction and jumping. Jump input on its own will cause the player character to let go and push away slightly from the ladder, while using a WASD key while jumping will send the player in that direction. Entering a stunned, incapacitated, overdosed or downed state will drop the player from the ladder as well. Interesting and cool. That's sort of Squadron 42 ladders that they've put in game and wedged in there. A couple of other things in that patch. Ship battle missions will now fail if a player leaves the mission area by more than 12 kilometers, and a 5-second warning buffer will will appear once outside the area, so going re-enter, otherwise you'll fail. Further network updates have been made to help reduce long network thread stalls, and they've had a load of bug fixes here as well, with fixes for spawning vehicles, getting stuck in planetary bodies, cargo, creature and AI spawning, mission spawning, and mounted turret issues. I'm expecting release candidates for 4.2.1 to be here for this weekend. Don't know when they're going to go live, but it'll be when they are ready, probably just after the Free Fly and the Foundation Festival end would be my best guess. But what's your best guess? I would love to hear from you in the comments below. What do you think of the new ladders? You're like, oh, these are cool, or no, these are really janky and broken. Tell me about your experiences with cheating and hackers and all the exploiting and stuff like that. Do you think this is all good that CIG is saying? Do you think it's all bad? Do you think it's a bit of a mix? Are you excited for 4.2.1? Are you excited for the RSI Meteor that's probably coming out real soon as well? Whatever your thoughts or questions, put them in the comments down below, and also go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer or use the links down below for that to get a huge discount on NordVPN, the best darn VPN we've ever advertised on the channel. Helps out the channel as well. And other things, Tobii eye trackers, they're on sale until the 14th of July. Go get yourself one of those for natively supported head and eye tracking in Star Citizen. Very precise, very cool. Use it, it works in lots of other games as well. Thanks very much for watching. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and July 2025 is no different. We're giving away a Prowler utility with lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package. All you need to jump into the game with a stealthy cargo ship. It's all you need to start your career as a hauler or maybe a pirate. Comment on any of our videos made during this month to be in for a chance of winning that. If you would like to further support the channel, consider becoming a channel member with the join button under the videos, or a Patreon. Links down below for that. And there's loads of other links that you can help support the channel with, from Game Glass to THRUSTMASTER, loads of products that you will potentially want for your Star Citizen experience. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great month, and I'll see you in the verse.